Captain Mara Lee stared at the translucent form of the Universal Higher Council's emblem mid-air. It hovered only inches from the control platform, an urgent, spectral presence that swallowed the bridge lights. The hologram shimmered. Counselor Iskandar, tall, inhuman once, now an ancient member of a race called the Satari, spoke with calm authority. Captain Lee, planets are burning. The world of Aeloria is under siege. Its inhabitants, the Aelori, are primitive, defenseless beings wielding swords, lances, and bows. They are a protected race under the Accord, and they face annihilation at the hands of the Kravoth. A wave of tension rippled behind Mara. The Kravoth, an insect-like empire driven by conquest, now targeting Aeloria en masse. Your mission is clear, Counselor Iskandar said. Destroy every Kravoth attack vessel, board their mother warship, and shut down their swarm generator. The Aelori must live. The issue is urgent. Strike Fleet leaves orbit in 15 minutes. He faded from view. Mara turned to the bridge. You heard the council. They want the elves saved, not memorialized. Lieutenant Aaron Vega cracked a metafilm-thick grin. Mother warship? Should we tell them there are no Kravoth mama ships? Commander Terrell stepped forward, expression tight. They call it Mother because it carries the swarm spire, the biogenerator that births their attack craft. Dr. Serene Holt added quietly, cousins of that thing we faced last mission, but far more numerous. Mara nodded. Let's prep X-Ultra. Full armor, stealth suits, boarding pods. We board the Mother, shut it down, and destroy the generator. Then sweep Aeloria's skies. Understood. Terrell tapped his console. X-Ultra standing by in the drop bay. Mara placed a hand on the console. Let's go remind the galaxy what humans do. 40 minutes later, the Vanguard broke orbit above Aeloria. Beneath them, endless silver forests, flowering plains, and fires where Kravoth swarms were already striking. Metal warbees, each the size of a small ship, rippled across the sky, tearing villages apart. On the bridge, holofeeds displayed the incursions. City of Myron has 40 minutes before ground zero, Holt said. Lock weapons on those swarms, Mara ordered. Aaron, first strike volley in 10 seconds. Sweep them from the sky. Aaron tapped the firing consoles. Firing in 5, 4, 3. A wave of kinetic lances erupted from the Vanguard. In 3 seconds, thousands of warbees vaporized. Terrell exhaled. Clearing skies. Good work. Mara glanced at the hologrid. Now, the mother warship is 200,000 kilometers out, cloaked. It's not expecting us. The Vanguard dropped its cloak and charged at flank speed. Mara joined her command team for a quick briefing. X-Ultra was assembled. Raze, Cora, Then, and Wrath, each fully suited in their stealth phase armor. Mara handed Raze the mission rod. You lead entry. Wrath, payload det cord on the swarm spire. Cora, system breach. Then, your job is extraction and medevac. Raze nodded. We won't ask permission. Mara's voice lowered. If it's locked, improvise. If it's defended, eliminate. Understand? Yes, ma'am. The hatch sealed. Hours later, they launched under cloak toward the Kravoth mother vessel. They entered the hull through a subspatial seam. Instantly, darkness closed in. Hull lights glowed dimly, organic patterns crawling along iridescent plating. Cora's voice came through comm. Sensors live. Biological power lines run toward center core. Wrath's visor glowed blue. Keep tight. They planted 0 sound charges along junction covers, then quietly circled medkit ready. Raze led the way. Then, 3 Kravoth bikers emerged, 6-legged, blade-armed creatures alert and snarling. Raze flicked his wrist. Grav pistol barked once. The first dropped. 2 more rushed them. Wrath stepped forward, fists crackling with disruptive energy. He punched one through a bulkhead, the other fizzled under restraining grav fields. Raze kicked the corner open. Move! They sprinted deeper, past humming pylons and bone-like supports. Data from Cora. Swarm spire below in 60 meters, 3 layers, biofilters, energy coupling, breeding mass. So we're slicing them off at the source, Mara said. No reinforcements. She grinned. Ray's signaled a stop at a junction. Brack? Cora pried open a panel. Inside, glowing tubes, brood chambers vibrating with eggs. She stabbed a breaching rod. Charge set. She checked the timer. 10 seconds. Then tapped his suit. All med ready. Ray's clipped a mic. Convergence in 5. The spire hull behind them exploded in synchronized fury as the biofilters shut down. Alarm klaxons screeched. They fled upstream. Cora tapped override, sealed the passage. Beneath them, a tremor, an impossible explosion. Organic coils imploded into themselves. A shockwave roared upward, collapsing floors. X-Ultra erupted through overhead access. They reached escape pods as the mothership shuddered. Wrath hurled rays into the pod and sealed it. Cora hit the launch. Ven yanked him in last second. They launched as the mothership swallowed its own innards, imploding in an anti-corruption cascade. The pod jolted. They watched the corridors collapse into nothingness. Ray's panted. Team, status? Ray's stable, Cora shaking, then dealing with a bullet wound. Wrath scanned. Exfil to coordinates A7 is go. They returned to Aelorian orbit. The Vanguard stood guard as Aelori villagers cheered below, their bows lowered in wonder at ships shimmering overhead. On the bridge, Mara met them at the lift. Ray's limped upright. Payload is ash, ma'am. The swarm spire is dead. Cora nodded. Mother obliterated too. Haven't seen any more warbears. Then tucked a med patch into his suit. Casualties limited to 3 local villages, but the swarm stopped dead. Mara looked down at Ray's. You okay? He flexed his fingers. We did good. Behind them, Aelorian dignitaries, tall, ethereal humanoids with willow-white hair, drifted forward. Their leader inclined in gratitude. Humans have the courage of legends, she said. Our bows and spears are nothing against your steel. Her voice chimed like bells. Mara nodded. Your world is free. In the final quiet, Mara stepped aside. Aaron quietly entered the bridge console. Sensors just picked up something large. The screen lit green. Not Kravoth, not Aelori. Something bigger. Mara stared. Bring it up. The captain crossed her arms as the feed zoomed out, and beyond the swirling nebula behind Aeloria's system, a monstrous ship hung in dark orbit. Humans had won this battle, but the real war was only beginning. The unknown vessel hung in the dark like a leviathan carved from night. It didn't shimmer like Kravoth ships. It didn't pulse like biological hulls. It just was, blacker than black, without visible engines or windows, a sharp-edged rift that absorbed sensor scans like a void. Aaron stared at the readings. This thing's bigger than the Vanguard by a factor of 5. Caldera's voice cut in, calm but tight. Hull material is non-reflective and actively suppressing identification. I cannot tell you what it is, but I can tell you what it isn't. Kravoth, Satari, human, or anything registered with the UHC. Terrell folded his arms, frowning. Could be a deep sleeper, an observer craft. It didn't observe the swarm getting annihilated, Holt added. Mara stood in silence, eyes fixed on the screen. Have they moved? Caldera replied. No. No signals. No EM output. But it's watching us. How do you know? She asked. Because it tilted its bow 3 degrees when you stepped onto the bridge. A long pause. Finally, Mara nodded once. Get X-Ultra to prep again, quietly. We may not be done. In the hangar bay, X-Ultra was already rearming. Cora rolled her shoulder and flicked a sharp grin at Ray's. That was a nice trick you pulled, triggering the implosion right under their nerve lattice. You like that? Reyes chuckled. Stole it from our second mission. Remember that gas giant relay outpost? The one with the gravity bombs in the floor? She smirked. I remember you trying to quote poetry to time your charges. I was being theatrical, he grinned. Then loaded another trauma kit, not looking up. And then you were being unconscious for 2 hours. Wrath didn't speak. He never did. He just tightened the harness on a breaching lance, eyes locked forward. Reyes looked up at him. You still dreaming about the Ark? Wrath finally moved. A small nod. Cora blinked. You dream? He didn't answer. Then Mara entered the bay. All right, she said. We've got a new problem. 15 minutes later, X-Ultra sat around a holotable. The unknown vessel glowed at the center, a 3D wireframe reconstruction of the thing lurking just beyond Aeloria. Mara briefed them. No response to hails, no movement, but calderas picked up low-frequency hums, internal power loops. Whatever it is, it's not empty. Cora frowned. So what? Send us in again? Exactly, Mara said. Get in, find out what they want. If they're a threat, neutralize it before it becomes another swarm. Reyes raised an eyebrow. You want us to board something we can't scan, can't classify, and can't see inside? Yes, she said. And don't pretend you're not excited. He smiled despite himself. Fair. The drop was silent. Stealth pods ejected under cloak. No external comms, no chatter. X-Ultra slipped through space like ghosts. The vessel didn't react, didn't move, didn't defend. Reyes muttered, It's almost like it wants us to come in. Cora glanced at her screen. Pod vectors confirmed, docking point ahead, looks like a ventral seam. The pod rotated and clamped. Wrath punched the hull with a molecular spike and melted a clean breach. They entered. Darkness swallowed them whole. Inside there was no light. Not dim. None. Reyes activated low-spectrum visors. Shapes emerged. The walls were smooth and black like volcanic glass. Everything reflected, but wrong. Like their reflections were delayed. Okay, that's creepy, then muttered. Cora tapped the wall. No biological trace, not even dust. Whoever built this, they weren't organic. They moved inward. Silence, save for footfalls on unnaturally still floors. Then, movement. A shimmer across the hall, a flash of something tall. Reyes lifted his rifle. Did you see that? No one responded. Then something spoke. A voice, not sound, but mind. You destroy what you fear. Everyone froze. Cora's face went pale. That was in my native language. I haven't heard that dialect in years. Then blinked. It just called me by my mother's name. The voice echoed again. You carry the Ark. You bring the light. And yet, you are dark. Wrath stepped forward. He lifted his palm. A pulse radiated out, faint blue, illuminating a wide chamber. And there, at the center, a figure. Tall, featureless, shimmering like liquid metal. You are being measured. Reyes lifted his rifle again. And you're not gonna like what we weigh. Wrath stepped forward, rifle lowered, eyes unblinking. The silver figure didn't move, yet somehow it loomed larger with every heartbeat. The light from Wrath's scanner reflected in fluid waves across its surface like it was breathing with the room. The voice returned, softer this time, but impossible to ignore. You are not welcome in this place. Leave the light, leave the Ark. Then's grip on her scanner tightened. It knows about the Ark. How the hell does it know about the Ark? Doesn't matter, Cora said sharply. If it's tied to the swarm, we end it. Reyes stepped forward, lifting a small spherical device from his belt. Flash and scan, then Wrath goes loud. Wrath nodded once. The scan pulse hit. The entity blinked out of view, gone like it had never been there. Alarms lit up on everyone's HUDs. Power surges, energy spikes, the whole ship was coming alive. Mara's voice cracked through the comm. "We've lost visuals on the enemy vessel. It's cloaked even from external sensors. Something's shifting." Reyes looked around. "Get ready. We kicked the hornet's nest." From the walls, black tendrils began to extend, mechanical yet alive. They cracked like whips as they probed through the room. Cora fired the first shot. Her pulse round tore through one tendril, sending it screeching backward, then tossed a thermal charge. No way out but through. Wrath went full throttle, twin grav lances blazing. Where he moved, nothing survived. He carved a path through the internal corridors like a myth made real. The voice boomed again, louder now. "You are the spark that invites the fire." They reached the central chamber. A sphere of energy pulsed there, pure gravitational stress coiled in upon itself, the ship's power core, and embedded inside it, unmistakably glowing in gold and white filigree, the Antikythera mechanism. Reyes froze. "That's not possible. It's intact." Then snapped a shot toward the chamber wall, disrupting a rising enemy form. "It's bait, a trap." Cora turned to Wrath. "We collapse the core, fast." He didn't hesitate. Wrath stepped forward, removed a charge from his belt, and activated the delay. 5 seconds. 4. 3. The others were already running. Wrath stood for one moment longer, watching the mechanism. Then, he ran too. The charge went off. Not an explosion, an inversion. The ship folded inward. Space screamed. Time fractured. Shockwaves echoed into nothing. X-Ultra dove into their pods, barely clearing the energy radius as the ship imploded into a singular point, and then winked out like a dream. On the Vanguard bridge, Mara watched the Echo vanish. She exhaled. "Caldera?" "Confirmed. Enemy vessel destroyed. No remaining energy signatures. Retrieval beacons active. X-Ultra en route." Mara nodded slowly. "Stand by medical, and bring the mechanism aboard, carefully." Tyrell crossed his arms. "Do we even want that thing on this ship?" Mara gave him a long look. "We're humans," she said. "We protect our own relics, even the impossible ones." He smirked. "Just make sure we don't put it next to the alien mind cube from the Tycho ruins." Holt chuckled. "Or the soul mirror from that shattered moon." They shared a quiet, strange laugh. But as the retrieval beacons closed in, Caldera's voice returned, tense. "Captain, we have a problem." Mara turned. "What now?" "The entity, the silver one. It's no longer aboard the destroyed vessel. I'm picking up a faint mass signature inside our lower decks." She froze. Tyrell's smile faded. "Tell me it's an echo. Debris. A glitch." Caldera's voice was dead calm. "Negative, Commander. The entity is on the Vanguard." Mara stepped back toward her chair, her fingers curling tight. "Seal off decks 9 through 11. Get X-Ultra armed and ready again." She stared out at the stars, jaw tight. "This isn't over."